another live edition of Portside with the Pilots. I'm Jamie Hudson, joined by Travis Demers. Travis, good to have you as we get ready for some men's basketball. The Pilots taking on Cal State Fullerton. We got a lot to talk about with this matchup. But first, Travis, we got to get caught up on some Portland athletics, because that's what we do on the show.
It's been a busy month, a busy week.
It has been. It's so true. Okay, so first I want to talk a little track and field, because last weekend it was Lauren LaRocco. Man, she has been doing big things. And Lauren LaRocco from the women's track and field debuted in the Boston Opener, Travis. And in her first race since last summer, she broke the University of Portland indoor 5,000-meter record with a time of 15:50. LaRocco redshirted both the 2017 outdoor track and cross-country seasons, and she's feeling good about her first race back.
It actually felt a little bit slow to me, but I still got the job done, and it was just so fun to be out there again and kind of got my confidence back up, because I haven't raced a lot of these girls in a while, and many of them were just top 10 at nationals for cross, and I didn't know if I could just jump back in there and be kind of right back where I was. By the time indoor nationals comes around in March, I'm more prepared and I taper more. I think that I can do pretty well, so I'm excited for that.
Well, Travis, over Thanksgiving, there was a huge tournament here in Portland over at the Rose Quarter at Moda Center and Memorial Coliseum, the Phil Knight Invitational, and these Portland Pilots were involved. And that tournament was quite an experience, Travis.
It was unbelievable. It was the biggest tournament we've ever seen in college basketball, and for the Pilots to be on the same stage as Duke, Oregon, North Carolina, Florida, Texas, Gonzaga, it goes on and on.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It really was. And we have the best sights and sounds from that PK80 tournament.
Terry Porter and the Portland Pilots in this unprecedented event at the Moda Center in Portland, the PK80.
This is the greatest college basketball tournament ever.
To be a part of this weekend, and the 16 teams that are here, and to celebrate Phil Knight's birthday, it's a celebration of basketball. It's just an unprecedented weekend to be here, and to be involved in this event is just phenomenal.
It's a tremendous opportunity. I mean, this has been so much fun to be down here, yesterday and today with Carolina fans and Duke fans and Texas, Oklahoma, all these big schools, and University of Portland.
This doesn't happen every day. We get to play against the defending national champs, so we just want to take advantage of the opportunity that we got.
All the teams across the country, the level of these teams, amazing, just truly amazing, and it's great. It's always great to come in this building, because it means so much to me and so much to my career, and it's great to see basketball being played in it again.
What a great event for Portland to host this, and the Pilots to be part of this big event honoring Phil Knight's 80th birthday. As a Pilot alum, I couldn't be more excited to be down here watching the Pilots play all these great teams from around the country. It's March Madness in November.
One of my best experiences as an alum was watching UP play in the Honda Classic several years ago, where they beat UCLA by more than 20, and then they took down Minnesota, who was a ranked team, and this even eclipses that, and it's a bigger deal to be able to play with these schools.
It's a great opportunity, putting us on the nationwide stage. I mean, from a recruiting perspective, especially in year 2 with Terry Porter, this is great. Excited for the future, excited what we can do here this weekend.
Well, we're excited to see this steps going forward, so we're hopeful. So we'll hope to see an improvement in WCC play and see where we can get to.
Go Pilot.
Pilot ride, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
I think it's just rewarding for the University of Portland to be a part of it, and it gets them on the national stage.
My friendship group, everybody's been watching it. Even if they're not here, getting texts from everybody saying what a great game, what a great event, and we showed up, which is great. We competed.
I would love to see at some point this event come back. I know it's, at least as of now, a one-time deal, but I hope the door's open, that it could be more than just once we're going to see this.
Coming up on Portside, we sit down with the men's Pilots team chaplain, Father Dan Parrish, and we'll also sit down with the team manager, Sam Harris. Welcome back to Portside with the Pilots, here with basketball team manager Sam Harris. Sam, thanks for joining us today. Now, I know you are really busy as a team manager. What does a typical game day look like here at Childs for you?
So a typical game day, I'm waking up, I'm going to my first classes. In between my classes, I'm going to try to come into our walkthrough. Usually happens right around like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'll be coming in and then helping out for that hour and a half that we have. And then right after that, we're going to our team meal, our pregame meal, eating. And then right after that, I'm going to my next class. And then through that, and then after class, I'm coming back to Childs, helping with pregame stuff, whether it's shagging balls, helping the coaches with whatever they need and everything, and then it's game time.
Yeah, team managers really are student athletes. I totally believe that. Yeah. Now in August, Sam, you got to go on a pretty cool experience with the England foreign tour with this Pilots team. What was that experience like?
It was pretty cool. We got to spend a few days in Leicester, just north of London, and played a few games there. We played different teams from different skill ranges basically, but we got to play a couple professional teams, which was pretty cool. And then after that, we went down to London, and we spent 4 or 5 days there. We played one game down there, but the rest of it, we were just kind of hanging out and exploring the city, trying to get a feel for that culture down there and just try to hit all the big things that makes London, London.
That's awesome. Now I know as the team manager and the players and the coaches, all of you guys are really a family. How do you describe this year's family?
So as you guys know, we came in with a few new guys coming in from this summer. So it was kind of like a rough start, I guess, just how any relationship would be. But I've been getting to know the guys quite a bit, especially through the summer I was here. I was able to help with workouts in those couple hours that they had each week. So I got to know the guys pretty well, and up until now, I know them pretty dang well, and just as well as I knew the guys from last year too.
That's really cool. And this year's team, they're so young.
Yeah.
So I'm sure as the season goes on, you'll see how they mature. And
yeah, for sure.
That'll be awesome. Well, we're going to let you get ready for this game, and I am going to send it over to Travis, who is with Father Dan, the Pilots team chaplain.
Jamie, thanks so much. I am indeed here with Father Dan Parrish. He is the Pilots team chaplain. Father, thanks so much for joining us today. Tell us a little bit first about what it is that you do.
Well, Travis, it's really a pleasure to be here. I'm a business professor here at the University of Portland. I graduated here in 1996, and now I'm back on the faculty. But I had the great fortune a couple years ago to find myself as the chaplain for the men's basketball team. So, in addition to professoring and working with the team, I also live in Lund Family Hall as a pastoral resident.
You have a very important role on this campus, and I understand back when you were a student here, you almost had a role on this floor.
I had big dreams that I might walk on and play some basketball, so I actually had a meeting set up with the coaches, and I was walking across the main parking lot, and I chickened out. I never showed up. And 25 years later, I'm on the bench.
You're here, that's what counts. And the role that you have with these players, it is very important. What are the relationships that you've been able to build with those guys?
Well, it takes a long time to develop trust. And we have mostly a new team this year, so I think, to be honest, they're still trying to figure out who I am. So I spent a lot of time just being around, helping them understand that I am here on their side as a resource, kind of like a big brother or an uncle, somebody else who understands how the university works and really cares for them. There's a lot of pressure on student athletes, just as there is on all students here, and so I think all the support that we can provide for them from different aspects helps them to be successful.
For a guy like Terry Porter, who this is his first go at it at college coaching, he's been in the NBA, he's got 2 sons on the team, how has he embraced what you do and what your importance is to this program?
Terry's very open to it. He's a religious man, and his family is too, and so they've been very, very welcoming to me, enthusiastically so. I've just found it to be a really welcoming environment. And I think he also realizes that there's more to being a human being than just our minds and bodies. There's something else about us, and so to the extent that the priests and brothers of Holy Cross on campus can help us to address that and grow in our spirituality. I think he's been very open to it, and I've really appreciated it.
Well, I was told, now you can't tell because we're sitting, you're quite a bit taller than I am. I was told that you can dunk. Unfortunately, the players are warming up behind us. Can you still get out there and throw down if you need to?
Last time I dunked was on my 41st birthday, and I thought that was probably pretty good. I was a few pounds lighter then, but in my mind I still can, and it's a beautiful thing.
Father Dan Parrish, the team chaplain with the Portland Pilots, thanks so much for stopping by. Everybody appreciates what you do. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Travis. Go Pilots.
Coming up on Portside with the Pilots, you'll hear from UP Vice President of Athletics, Scott Lakem. Plus, I sit down with longtime band member of the Portland Pilots, Darren Lloyd.
Welcome back to the first ever live edition of Portside with the Pilots here at the Child Center. Travis Demers here, joined now by the Vice President of Athletics, Scott Lakem. Scott, great to see you. There are a lot of things that have changed about the fan experience here at the Child Center in the last year or so. What are those changes?
Well, Travis, I think in this business now, if you don't change, people are going to stay home and watch games on NBC Sports or watch games on streaming. So we have to adapt to make sure that in-game experience is the same. I think from a kid's perspective, we've done a good job with groups so far this year and last year. For that is locker room experiences, pregame fan tunnels, chance to get autographs from the guys, the head coach, really to do more than just be at a game, but to have that experience and meet the student athletes and the coaches firsthand. The other thing that's been a great opportunity for us is beer. I've learned in my 5 years that beer in Portland is very important.
Yes,
if I've learned one thing. And we now sell beer publicly at all of our games. Have a partnership with both Columbia Distributing, Rogue Ales, which is doing a pilot pale ale for us. We've been able to put together some group packages, and really one of the things in every survey we had across people that come to soccer, baseball, basketball is this is the one event in the city, sporting event, where you can't have a beer. Right. So we've changed that.
How have the alumni and the people who have been tied to this program for a long time bought into all the things you guys are doing to attract more and younger people?
Well, I mean, our ticket revenue last year was the best it's ever been by far, and that was with a snow out against Gonzaga. Hopefully we don't have another one of those, and 2 other snow games. This year we're on track to beat that number. We've brought in a group called Aspire, which is a ticket sales company that's also at Santa Clara, Pepperdine. They're doing a great job selling the product forward. So far, so good. We need to see how the season goes. Obviously, win a couple games and get ready for league play. And I think we've also learned that, you know, a night like tonight's going to be harder to get people to this corner of the city on Wednesday. But Fridays and Saturdays, we know that 3,000 to 4,000 should be the normal in this building, and we're starting to plan that way.
It's been a big year already for you guys playing in the PK80. Being in that kind of national spotlight, how did that help enhance just the vision and the platform of this program?
Well, that's one of those opportunities you can't turn down. And it was an ability to partner with ESPN and Nike, which is a great opportunity for us. So we played in the Anaheim tournament with ESPN last year. We're going to Honolulu with them. So it's a multi-year agreement that came out of PK80 to play in ESPN events. Nike, that's a long-term partner that we want to be an even longer-term partner. And then it doesn't hurt. I mean, 2 Thanksgivings in a row now, we've now played Lonzo Ball and Roy Williams. That's something that you can really sell to recruits in a living room.
Yeah, and that's a big thing. And we've talked about this before with the gravity of this recruiting class being a top 10 recruiting class under a coach like Terry Porter. The vision this program has might take a little bit to get there, but how do you feel that process is going?
I'm happy with the process. The thing is, you've got to let the process play out. I mean, we're in this day and age, and you talk about it on talk radio every day of college football. There's always one hand on the panic button. I think the reality is with college basketball and the University of Portland, you hire a good coach, you get out of the way, and you help support their process. 4 or 5 years down the road, you evaluate where that process is. But I think Terry's checked all the boxes for us in the first year plus through that process.
All right, Scott Lakem is the Vice President of Athletics here at the University of Portland. Scott, great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it.
All right, let's send it over to Jamie Hudson, who has more.
Hey, thanks, Travis. Well, I'm here with longtime band member Darren Lloyd. And Darren, it's been 16 years that you've been drumming with this UP band, is that right?
Yep.
16 years. What keeps you coming back and being involved in the Pilots band?
I started as a freshman and I just never left, mostly. I'm fortunate that we're able to allow community members who have played in this band. I'm not the longest tenured person who still plays. It helps fill out sections, it helps kind of keep everybody going. 16 years means you know all the music, so you can help mentor people in the area and kind of tell them how things go, help our student conductors understand the game management flow, somebody's about to call a timeout, all of that stuff. So it's fun. It also keeps me playing. A drummer, it's really hard to play by yourself.
Well, how many memories come to mind when I ask you, like, what's your favorite memory over these 16 years?
So 2014, beating Gonzaga here at home for the first time in, I want to say, 12 years. My freshman year was the last time we had beaten them up in Spokane in the old kennel. And then a couple weeks later, beating BYU in a double overtime game. That was fun. One of the last times Oregon came to town, beating them. I think all three of those, the students rushed the court, so that's always fun. But the atmosphere is always enjoyable, and we like bringing a bunch of noise and having fun.
Now, Darren, I know you are very involved with this community. How do you describe this UP community?
Well, the UP community, just in general, is close-knit, and I feel like the band group is also very similar. One of our bass players grew up in the area, was coming to games growing up, and we were talking a couple weeks ago around the PK80, and he goes, no, I remember coming to games and seeing you play when I was coming to games, and so playing with him now is kind of fun to have that kind of, we're all together playing in different groups on campus and everything like that as well.
I want to go back to game atmosphere as we're obviously getting ready for this Pilots and Titans matchup. What is it like to be here at Childs, especially right before a game when you guys are really pepping up this crowd, pumping them up?
It's fun, particularly when I get to play drums. How big can we be? How loud can we be? And kind of bring that crowd energy in. Some of those tight games where the crowd is in it and the band is in it, we're right next to the visitors band. We make life miserable for them. We point at them intentionally. Not our problem, it's their problem.
Right. And I know you got, a freshman filling in for you so you could do this interview, right?
I try to let them play more than I play, but yeah, we figure we let them play.
Yeah, that was very nice of you, Jared. Well, the PK80 I want to mention real quick because that is such a big tournament that was hosted here in Portland. How cool of an experience was it for you guys in the band?
It was fun. We had a lot of kids, which was 24, 25 players, which for Thanksgiving break is really awesome. And then to be able to go, and anytime you can play in the Moda Center, which we've done a few times, is always fun. Playing the Memorial Coliseum is really fun. It's the first time I'd really seen not hockey in the Memorial Coliseum, so that was also pretty cool to be able to be there and talk to security, fans of other teams, Pilots fans, all say, hey, you guys are so much fun to hear. As our late band director used to say, the band always wins, and that was one of those trips where it was a lot of fun to be able to experience that and do that.
Well, Darren, thank you so much for joining us on today's Portside. We appreciate it. We'll let you get back to work, and we're going to get you guys ready for this Pilots and Titans matchup coming up right after the break. Back here on Portside with the Pilots, and Travis, we're just minutes away from tip-off between the Pilots and the Cal State Fullerton Titans. When we look at this Titans team, they play some pretty good defense. Right now they're ranked second in their conference in how many points they allow with their opponents, and it's just 63 points right now.
Yeah, right now their defense is playing really well, and they have played some good teams. They lost to USC, they lost to St. Mary's, they played a Georgia team pretty tough, lost that game too. They are very good on the inside. They are very good defensively. Where they struggle, though, is on the outside. They've only made 31 three-pointers so far through 7 games this year. They don't shoot a lot from the outside. So the Pilots tonight need to worry about that mid-range game. They need to worry about the paint, and you know that Cal State Fullerton is going to be strong the same way, so it's going to have to be a big-time game from the outside for the Pilots tonight.
You mentioned this Cal State Fullerton team not shooting well from outside against the St. Mary's Gales. Travis, they were 1 of 11 from long distance.
Yeah.
That kind of shows what they can't do.
Right, and that's not their strength. It's not what they do. They don't hit a lot of threes, but they've got a couple of guards in the backcourt. And Kyle Allman, I mean, he scored 34 points against Georgia. He was the only player on his team in double figures in that game, and he put up 34. They lost that game, but he has the ability to take over, and the Pilots are going to have to make sure they've got their backcourt defense tonight solidified.
Well, the Titans have now lost 7 straight non-conference road games. So tonight here at Child Center, you can imagine that Cal State Fullerton's going to want to break that losing streak.
Yeah, they certainly are. And for the Pilots, you know, they haven't beat a team from the NCAA this year. All 3 of their wins are against NAIA teams, and they beat them convincingly. They played well in the second half against Oklahoma. They played well at North Carolina. It's just a matter of putting that together for 40 minutes, something they haven't done yet this year against an NCAA team, and they'll have the opportunity to do that tonight.
And this season, you've been watching this University of Portland team, and it's a very young team, especially when you talk about the guards. They're very young, but the three-point shooting for this Pilots team has been pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're averaging more than 11 three-pointers per game. I mean, that's incredible. They're shooting 46% from beyond three-point. They're hitting more than 11 three-pointers per game. And if you think about that, that's 33 points. That's more than a third of your points right there. So the Pilots got to continue to get hot from the outside, but knowing that, you know the perimeter defense of Cal State Fullerton is going to bear down on that, so you've got to be able to get the drives and slashes to the basket. You've got to get your big man, Philip Hartwich, involved. You can't just completely rely on your outside game to win a game like this for the Titans, for the Pilots, because they have such a strong defense for Cal State Fullerton along the perimeter.
What has impressed you most about the Pilots' freshman guards so far?
The freshman guards have been just the ability to play together for 3 guys who have not had that opportunity. You have 2 freshmen in JoJo Walker and Marcus Shaver coming from opposite ends of the world almost, and they haven't played together. And Malcolm Porter, the son of Terry Porter, he's been on this team for a year but hasn't played with these guys. So getting into a rhythm has been very important, but they're also, all of them can play the point guard. All of them can pass the ball, and they all have the ability to play the off-guard position as well. Probably Walker and Shaver a little bit more so than Porter, but they can all play 2 positions. So you can have a rotation where all 3 of them are in the game at the same time.
Well, I know that we were at shoot-around this morning, and we got to chat with a couple of different coaches, but for the Pilots, actually, we got to go because we're almost ready for tip-off. So that's going to do it for this Portside with the Pilots. Thanks for joining us.